trigonometry graphs. Your normal equation is y is equal to a sine bx plus c. You need to understand that your a shows amplitude. Your b shows cycle. Your c shows y shift. Your c shows y shift. In the context to the graph, you need to understand that maximum value of sine is 1. Your minimum value of sine is? So, maximum value of sine is equal to 1. Minimum value of sine is equal to -1. Maximum value of sine is equal to 1. Minimum value of sine is -1. You need to understand that your sine cycle normal 90, 180, 270 and 360. 90 is 1, 180 is 0, 180 is 0, 270 is -1, 360 is 0, and the question starts from 0 again, right? So that means sine 0 is 0, 90 is 1, 180 is 0, 270 is -1, and 360 is 0 again. And the graph goes like this because of the minimum and maximum point. From 0 to 360, you will have one cycle. From 0 to 360, you will always have one cycle. So let's work upon cycles first. Let's say the question says sine 2 theta, or it says sine 2x. So this particularly means that your sine graph, this sine graph it tells us that this has only one cycle. But the 2 before the theta actually tells me what? Now the sine graph will have 2 cycles. Now, how do we have 2 cycles? Your points are 360. Your point is 270. Your point is 180. Your point is 90. If I divide 360 by 2, I'll get what? 180. If I divide 270 by 2, I will get 135. If I divide 180, 90. If I divide 90 by 2, 45. That means these are the new values for the cycle. These are the new values for the So the new cycle, new values of the first cycle will be what? 360 will be converted to 180. 270 will be converted to what? 135. Your 180 will be converted to what? 90. And your 90 will be converted to what? 45. So if I draw the graph, that means now your initial value will start from 45. Then your other value will be 190. Then it will be 135. Then it should be 180. So that means if this is 1 and this is -1, your 90 used to have what? 1. Now your 90 is converted to what? 45. So now 45 will have what? How did you had 90? You converted this 90 from what? 180. 180 had what value? 0. So now 90 will have what value? Your 270 had? So now 270 is converted to? So 135 will have? And 180 will have? So this becomes your first cycle. If now you need to understand that this. If the question tells me that my theta is from 0 to 180, your theta is from 0 to 180. From 0 to 180, you will only create one cycle. If the question clearly mentions that the graph of sine 2 theta, the graph of sine 2 theta, and the range of the graph is from theta from 0 to what? 180, you will only create how many cycles? One cycle. But if the range is from 0 to 360, then you will further go from 180, the other, you will add 45 now. This will be 225, do you agree? Then you will have 270, then you will have 315, and then you will have what? 360. And then you will repeat the process. You had 45, you had 1. So now you have 225, you will have 1. 270, you will have 0. This will be -1, and this will be what? And the graph that you will make from here, from the other point, you don't need to obviously cross it down. I'm just showing you that this is your other cycle. So now you move as in other cycle from 1 to what? 1, -1, and 0. So now how many graphs are there? 2, because this represents sine 2x for theta greater than 0, less than equal to 360. The black graph represents sine 2x, but for the range of theta that is greater than 0 and less than equal to what? 180. Okay. Sine 3x. Sine 3x का मतलब क्या हुआ? Now we will be creating how many graphs? Till the range of what? 360. But I will make sure that हम उसको अलग अलग रेंज के हिसाब से बनाए, ठीक है, ताकि हम उसको 3 साइकिल में शो कर सके कि क्वेश्चन ने अगर इतना रेंज बनाया तो 1 साइकिल बनेगी, इतना रेंज होगा तो 2 साइकिल बनेगी, इतना रेंज होगा तो 3 साइकिल होंगे. बट पहली चीज, फर्स्ट थिंग फर्स्ट, साइकिल एंड कहाँ पे होता है? ओरिजिनल 360 पे. तो 360 पे डिवाइड बाय 3 करूंगा तो आ जाएगा 120. 270 जो मिनिमम वैल्यू शो करती थी उसको डिवाइड बाय 3 करूंगा तो क्या आ जाएगा? दैट मीन अब जो मिनिमम वैल्यू 270 पे थी अब कहाँ आ गई? 90 पे आ गई. 180 डिवाइड बाय 3 विल बी 60. 180 पे कौन सी वैल्यू होती थी ओरिजिनल में? 0. 180 पे ओरिजिनल ग्राफ में कौन सी वैल्यू होती थी? 0. Why am I not showing the graph when I'm discussing this? Because I want you to think on this. You don't have to create your original graph to make this graph. You have to think 180 पे अच्छा जी 0 होता था तो अब 60 पे क्या हो जाएगा? 0 हो जाएगा. Then you will have what? 90. 90 divided by 3. That means 90 पे क्या होता था? तो अब 30 पे क्या आ जाएगा जी? 1. Do you agree to this? Now if I create a graph, your first value is 30, the other value is 60, then it is 90, and then it will be what? 120. Since you need to understand this is 1 and this is -1. This particular graph is from 0 to 120. If the range is from 0, theta is greater than 0 and less than equal to what? 120, then we will only create one cycle. So can I say 30 you will have maximum, 60 पे we will have 0, 90 पे we will have -1, and 120 पे we will have 0. Because 360 वाला point divide by 3 becomes what? 270 वाला point divide by 3 becomes what? 180 divide by 3 becomes what? And 120, 90 divided by 3 becomes what? 30. So this becomes your first cycle. Now, if I say this is 150, 180, 210. Why am I taking 30 difference? Because the first initial difference was 30. The other will be what? 240. Now in 150, we will have again maximum 0, minimum 360. So this becomes what? Second graph. If the question would have asked from 240, that means now you will have to create how many cycles? 2 cycles. From blue to what? Green. If the question would have asked me, this is 270, 300, 330 and maximum 0, minimum 0. Now this graph becomes what? Your third cycle. If the question would have said 0, 360. Do you agree? That means till 360 we will have how many graphs? 3 graphs. Till 360 we will have how many graphs? 3 graphs. So you need to also understand that it is not necessary that the examiner would only give till the original cycle only. The examiner can ask you to create a graph till 0 to 150. The examiner can also ask you to create your graph to 0 to 60. The examiner can also ask you to create a graph from 0 to 210. The examiner can also ask you to create a graph from 0 to 90. So in that particular manner, obviously, till that particular range is given according to the cycle, till that particular cycle, you will create the graph. That means if the question says till 90, you will cut the graph till here, then you don't need any graph ahead. If the question says graph is till 150, then you will cut the graph here. You don't need any cycle ahead of this. Have I made myself very clear? If the question would have been sine 1 upon 2x, that means the entire cycle that was 360. Now you will have to create only one half of it, which means if I say theta is greater than 0 and less than equal to what? 360. Your original graph is 90, 180, 270 and 360. I'm creating the original graph. This is 1. Let's take this as -1. This is sine 180, 270, 360. This becomes your original graph. Now, just trying to explain you on the same graph. The question says sine 1 upon 2. If I divide 360 divided by half, can I say 360 multiply by 2, which is 720? Now your one cycle will end at what? Now your one cycle will end at what? If I see that I have my minimum value 270, 270 divided by half. This will be 270 multiplied by what? 2. This should be 5. That means your minimum value will come at what? 540. Your 180 divided by half will be what? 180 multiplied by 2. This will be what? That means your 0 value from 0 to 0 will end at what? 180, which means if I start my graph like this, I'll go about 90, 180, 270, 360. The range shows me that it is from 0 to what? 360 only. Your 90 was left. 90 divided by 1 upon 2 will be what? 90 multiplied by 2, which is what? 180. Now you need to understand that your 90 maximum was shifted to what? Your 90 maximum was now shifted to what? Your 180 0 was now shifted to what? This is just the upper curve of the sine. This is just the upper curve of the sine. That means I have created half of the sine graph. I've created just the half of the sine graph. Your maximum value was on 90. Now it is on what? 180. Your maximum value used to be on 90, right? This is your original graph. Maximum value used to be on 90. Now it is on what? 180. Your 180 was 0. Now it is what? It is where? 360. Your minimum used to be at what? 270. If I exceed the range, then the minimum will be now at what? 540. Your graph used to end at 360. Now the graph will end at what? 720. I hope that I've made it very clear.